nos droits et de défendre notre communauté en Inde et au Canada et aussi aux États-Unis. Eh bien, merci beaucoup à vous. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam. Jazakallah khair. Thanks for the both Arabic and English version of the speech. At least we're good to know who you are, and inshallah. So again, idea is to reach out to the larger community, both so that a lot of Arab-speaking individuals can also understand what we're trying to do here. So inshallah, with this one, we'll move on to the Q&A. And I think the format is you type a question in the chat box, and I'll read it to the speaker, whoever the speaker is you're referring to, and we'll take the question. So please go ahead and use your chat box to write the question. The speech was in Arabic and French, so. So I'm looking at the chat box. If there's anything there, please direct the question to the speaker, whoever the speaker you want to refer to, Dr. Ubaid or Mubarak. So please type the question to the host. That would be better if you can do that. Shujat Khan, I'm not seeing anything as far as the questions goes. I don't know if you are noticing anything there. Yeah, question to Dr. Ubaid. Why is that only 11 congresspersons have signed the Indian bill of Ehsan Omar? I think she submitted this in the Congress, but only 11 people signed up for it. Why is that? That was the question. And this question is referred to Dr. Ubaid. Dr. Ubaid, can you answer the question, please?
As I mentioned, I mean, for the last many years, the Hindutva lobby had been very active in the US, and they have gotten their volunteers and even sometimes paid staff members in the members of Congress, offices. So unless, members of Congress are there to win re-elections. So they will see if they take a stand, what is it going to do to them? So unless we have grassroots coalitions, unless we had, there are associations of Indian Muslims who raised millions of dollars. If they had invested in coalition building, if they had asked their chapter, invested in the chapters, and every chapter, in most American cities, if they had built coalitions with the pastors and the rabbis, and this is a very very conducive time also because of the rise of Trump. There's lots of activism going on for human rights and social justice in America and grassroots. We are not. So if we had formed coalitions and had gotten and had gone and met with the members of Congress prior to this resolution being introduced, and and we were one of those organizations that worked with Ilhan, but we kept saying that to the Muslim community, build coalitions so that when this resolution is introduced, we have lots of members of Congress supporting it, and that was not done. So there's still time, maybe not for this resolution. There's no other way to do, but no organizations can help you. People come and say, give us this much money and we will take care of you. Nobody can, even CAPI or Aspire cannot do that. You have to do it. Every city, every town has to form coalition and has to work to prevent this genocide from happening. If you go and meet a member of Congress with a coalition or an alliance which is local, they will support us in Washington, D.C. So that was not done. And it's time that we start doing it. And when it was done, for example, when Aspire was launched in just before the last round of elections, when Kulkarni was running in Houston, and just like Raja in Chicago, he had fooled the Muslim community by going to the masjids and doing Tarawih Salat, whereas he was being planned to be the chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee in the Congress because of his foreign affairs experience. And we really had to work hard, and we were able to defeat him. Out of the 7 or 8 constituencies that we worked, half of them were defeated because of the grassroots work that was done. If you go and look at the website, bellwether-usa.com, which was again done by some other people in Michigan, you see that amazing work that was done. So that kind of grassroots work is needed.
Okay. There's another follow-up question on the same topic, is again for Dr. Ubaid. How was the Modi visa been achieved? I mean, because basically, how we are able to cancel it, I guess. How can we do something like that? That means we stopped him coming to the United States at the time. And also another question is the next step for the American Muslims to take. Do we have a roadmap? So roadmap is one question. Other one is, what did you guys do when you stopped Modi coming to the United States a long time ago?
See, Modi's visa was not revoked just out of the blue. There was a plan in place. See, when we launched ImanNet, we had different stages of working. The first stage was inform and educate the community, both Indians about, because in 2002, remember, many Indian Muslims also did not know what happened in Gujarat and what's the future plan is. So the Indian Muslims, also other Indians living in the diaspora, then reach out to the Muslim community at large, then reach out to the American community at large. And then after educating them, formed a coalition. So there was already 2 years of work was done, and a coalition called Coalition to Build Better India was launched. In my speech in Chicago's second IMC convention, Detroit had the third one, where we presented this. And most of the Indian communities, Dalits and moderate Hindus, etc., joined hands with us. The only community that was left, which was working with us but was not an official part of the coalition, was the left groups. When Modi's visa was announced, many people said, well, let us just have a protest rally because we cannot get his visa revoked. And we said, no, let us try. So we reached out to the left, and they also joined us. So Coalition Against Genocide was launched with the Coalition to Build Better India expanded by the joining of left. Then we worked in different aspects. The left worked on the professors and academicians, and more than 100 professors of South Asian studies. They launched a petition and they put pressure. Then the Christian community worked with Vice President Cheney's office and State Department. And the Muslim community raised money, and we had this petition signing every Jummah, and we put pressure on the sponsors, American Express, Home Depot, etc., asking them how could they sponsor this kind of a program where Hitler lovers are coming. And we also asked the national Muslim organizations like CARE, etc., not to issue any statements so that it does not become a Muslim versus Hindu or Middle Eastern angle is brought in there. So it was a very thought out plan, and we all stuck to that plan. We were focused. We were not doing this fluffy kind of thing that is being done these days. And with Allah's help, we were able to, remember, they were so arrogant, they did not even want to speak to us, the Hotel Owners Association, etc. And they thought that the Israeli lobby will come to their aid. And we spoke to the Jewish organizations, asking them how could they even support somebody who adores and admires Hitler. So we did lots of things at different places, and that kind of work is needed now.
Okay.
As roadmap, the roadmap is very simple. Build coalitions, educate your local pastors and rabbis and local human rights organizations, form an alliance, go and meet with your local media, get an editorial published, and then meet your member of Congress and your senators. And most of them will support you because they will be forced to support you once you local coalition. That is as, but only thing is that at every town and city, you have to have some people. And, if you don't even know how to speak fluently or shy, just go there, have coffee, and we will give you the things to distribute there. So it's very simple. The roadmap is very simple. And keeping simple, the simple wins battles. Our leaders should study history, not just Muslim history, but world history.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khair. I think that kind of, you answered one of the question for focus on now and near future. That kind of sets a roadmap. I think that you answered the question already. What is the roadmap? Yes, I think that's the roadmap, is to reach out and build coalitions and start approaching. The other question is there a strong case to seek legal action against Hindu hate groups, like ban on their or ban on their organizations? Can we take a legal action? That was the question on the Hindu organizations. That is to you, Sheikh Shahubad.
So that is part of the comprehensive strategy, right? So there has to be another aspect, which thanks for asking this question. See, there has to be three things going on in every city. One is alliance building, as said, and alliance building also, when I just mentioned the media, because you have to have media work, build relations with the media. Another aspect is that you have to gather data about, who are there in every city, who are running for school boards and library boards, and who are running for Congress and local state legislators. And similarly, what kind of activities they are doing. So that data collection is going on, and and soon, hopefully, you will soon hear some good news for legal and political actions. But we have to have hard data, which has to come from grassroots again.
Okay, so this question is to Sheikh Mubarak. How can we educate Arabic and French-speaking diaspora to have a buy-in into this struggle for Muslims in India?
Sheikh Ahmed, there's also a question in Arabic.
I read it.
Brother posted. Yeah, you read it? Okay, please
Yes.
read that out loud, and maybe you can answer that back in Arabic and translate to English.
Yes. The question in English is how to educate both the Arabic-speaking and the French-speaking maybe communities, or let's say other communities who are not English-speaking communities or Urdu-speaking communities. And we know that this is very important for our fight, because we have the Arab community that is doing business with India as a government, and have hosted Indians as workers and source of income, big portion of income, the remittance, and that comes from Gulf countries going back to India. And the fact that there is this common religion, spiritual ties or bonds that put these communities together and make their interest interconnected. With the way you do it, the only way worldwide is the media and the social media. We have to have good use of it. If you have the money, then the media can get you everywhere with little cost. And that's the only way. Educating the community, I cannot rely on in any way on the Arab world or the French-speaking Muslims or even the non-Muslims who would like to help. If we can help ourselves here in the United States as Americans, because we have other communities who are not Muslim, who are willing. Here in Westchester, we worked with this Westchester Coalition Against Islamophobia. And that's basically all our activities. They did it basically. There are non-Muslim, most of them are retired, for Jews and Christians and atheists, and they did the job because they have a better argument when we meet with public officials. Wherever we go, we have these people with us. They're our face basically, because if you come only you, it becomes something personal and something that doesn't impact the whole American society.
Jazakallah khair.
So those are the two ways.
Okay, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Thank you.
بالنسبة لسؤال صاحب اللغة العربية, I was going to answer the one who was
okay. There are three more questions out there. If you can,
I can do it very quickly.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yes, إن شاء الله. بالنسبة للسؤال هل هنالك خطة؟ طبعا هنالك خطة عملية في ولايات مختلفة. طبعا لنا لا يمكن أن نقدم على الهواء تفاصيل الخطة، ولكننا نشتغل الآن في ولايات مختلفة. هنالك خطة على المستوى الوطني إن شاء الله. نطلب من كل التجمعات المسلمة وغير المسلمة التي تفهم اللغة العربية أن تساعدنا وتشترك معنا في هذا الأمر إن شاء الله.
Okay. So I think there are a couple more questions, and then I will stop this discussion because I just have a couple more things, dua and wrap-up comments. So a couple of questions were, again, it's going back to Dr. Ubaid, I guess. One is, what is the one thing you would recommend we do now to counter the RSS narrative in the US? I think he kind of answered it, but I'll have him speak again. And also, another question is, can we fund research fellowships to gather data on the funding and of hate groups and destructive aspects of the ideology? Brother Dr. Ubaid.
Before I answer, I had a direct message from Sister Yasmin Qadri, I think from Florida.
Okay.
Yasmin, you for asking the question, you have to type it to the host, I think. So if you type it up, they will raise the question. Data gathering is very important, and that work is being done. And we have hired people, some known and some are not known to the community because they come under tremendous pressure. So that is being going on, and that needed to be funded. And what was the first part of the question that, if you can?
No, I think what is one thing you could do, recommend to do now to counter the RSS narrative? That was one of the questions.
Is have a meeting of people from India, and then decide that who will do the fascism watch, keep an eye on, do some research on the people who are doing fascism coming up, and then who will take responsibilities to go and meet with the churches and synagogues, or you can have an open house in the masjid and focusing on the aspect of India. It's just not an Indian issue. See, remember, this issue is an issue of America. Hindutva people have been supporting right-wing extremists here. Pamela Geller, Spencer, Daniel Pipes, and their organizations, they have been. And so just explain to them that this is a fast growing ideology in America, very, infiltrating all the power centers, corrupting politicians. So you have to focus on that. So 2 or 3 of you should start attending interfaith, and if there's no interfaith meeting, then invite them to your home or to the masjid, and then form a delegation and meet with the local editorial board. When we had the first IMC convention, we invited only 2 people, and at that time, I was very adamant that we are not going to pay people coming from outside any money. We did not have the money, and also, if people are not going to, when our local H1, remember most of the people who formed IMC were young people on H1 visa, not even green card. And they were putting their lives at risk and giving their money. Why should I pay thousands of dollars to? So we had 2 people. One was Father Cedric Prakash, and one was Praful Bidwai, one of the most well-known journalists. And after the convention was over, we took Praful Bidwai and met with the editorial board of Newsday, which was the 6th largest newspaper, the South Asian editors of New York Times and Washington Post and other media institutions. So that should be done. When Ajit Sahi was being hired, and Fauzi probably is here, I spoke to him because there was a request that I help convince IMC to get Ajit Sahi here, both by the communist groups in the US. And I thought that Ajit Sahi will be used to go and meet with the media, and he will appear on television channel, etc. Instead of assigning him to run helter and skelter in Washington, DC, so we have to. So that meeting with Praful Bidwai was enormous. And similarly, we took Father Cedric Prakash, met with the Catholic Church leaders and also other Christian leaders and the State Department, Human Rights. So that kind of a specific, well planned out strategy, the thing that we did for Bosnia, for Burma, and I learned from my seniors like Abdul Malik Mujahid and others. Similarly, whatever experience that we have, the younger people should learn and continue that. So this should be.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. I think we're reaching the time. I just want to make some wrap-up comments and make a quick dua. So again, Speaker, on behalf of the Flint Muslim community, we thank everyone who participated in this discussion, the speakers and all individuals who made it possible. And inshallah, the goal is to have this speaker series minimum in a quarterly basis. And I want to remind myself and all the participants of a beautiful lesson I learned in one of the Jummah khutbah. What is important is not how much knowledge you have acquired, but how you have processed the knowledge and you turn into actionable items. That's our actionable item is what's going to lead us to the targeted goal we have. And inshallah, let's all work towards, and so that the whole idea is to serve the humanity and humanity for the good. And so please reflect on that thought. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wa salatu wa salam ala Shafi al-Sayyidina Muhammad. Allah, unite our hearts to fight for justice and a rule of law, and preserve the democracy in India and the rest of the Muslim world, and prevent us from being potential victims of the genocide. Give us, Allah, give us the strength, steadfastness, wisdom, courage, and fight this aggression and injustice. Allah, lift the veils from the eyes of those who have been deceived into seeing Islam as something bad because of the ignorance and the media stereotype. Allah, make us firm in our commitment to fight and preserve the human dignity and protection and equal rights. Allah, all of our brothers and sisters who are suffering for your sake through the torture, violence in jails around the world, please forgive their sins and grant them the paradise. Allah, being all human closer to you, bring all human beings closer to you and to each other. Please do not make us Muslims the test for them with our misrepresentation of Islam and because of our bad behavior. Allah, send peace and blessings into Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and his family, his companions, and all those who follow his footsteps until the day of judgment. Thank you very much. We're going to end this program at this point. Again, we will send you the note for the future events, inshallah. Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum. Thanks, both speakers, inshallah.
Thank you.